Good morning. It's a chilly Wednesday. I hope you're well and in a safe place this morning. I'm over at the Gilford Library. It's windy and I'm kind of tucked into a little corner, so I hope my equipment doesn't rattle too much and blow around. But I've had a lifelong love affair with libraries. I think the first time I went to a library was in Novi, Michigan. It would have been about 1965 or 66. A mobile home, a trailer converted to a library. You had to walk up some rickety steps, and probably the first book I would have checked out would have been Dr. Seuss, Fox in Socks, or it might have been that classic that was written in 1966, Curious George Goes to the Hospital. But believe it or not, the Bible is a library. 66 books in the Protestant version of the Bible and 73 in the Catholic version. The Bible is a collection of books. It doesn't speak with one voice, but a plurality of voices, despite the fact that we don't always recognize that. And so to ask what the Bible says about any topic, whether it's God or humanity or the world, to ask that question is like asking the library, what does the library think about sex? Well, it depends on what book you read. So I've been to libraries in Novi, Michigan, small libraries in Novi, Michigan, to great libraries in New York City and at Harvard University, but there's something special about the Gilford Library. I love hanging out here. And I imagine a conversation about 275 years ago, conversation going something like this. So now let me get this straight. You want me to build a building and then fill it with books, and then let people come for free, check out these books, and trust them to return them. I imagine the room being filled with laughter as that idea was shared. And yet in 1833, right in Peterborough, New Hampshire, the first tax-funded free public library was opened, the Peterborough Public Library. The first in the country, the first in the entire world. It's amazing. And books and reading. Reading is really one of the things that helps keep me grounded and yet encourages me to soar, to take chances and to live an adventurous life. And a good book makes me think, it makes me laugh, and sometimes it makes me cry. And a really good book has the power to touch my heart, touch my mind, and change me. Literature is soul, is food for my soul. And I'm reading 4 books right now. First book I'm reading is a biography of Dorothy Day. Dorothy Day is a marvelous but muddled, a fabulous but flawed individual. She was born at the end of the 19th century and died late in the 20th century, but she was a wholehearted social activist and a real powerful voice of dissent, and was always found in the corner of the marginalized. And then my new favorite author that I discovered a couple of months ago, Brian Doyle, his collection of essays called The Kind of Brave You Want to Be. And almost every single essay just touches me in a profound and significant way. And then a book that Doris introduced me to, I can't believe that I hadn't read it earlier, it's been out for a couple of years, but Where the Crawdads Sing. Beautiful, tender story. And then a book finally that Cindy pointed me to the other day called How Risky Is It Really? How Risky Is It Really? We know from science that evolution has hardwired us to be especially attentive to potential dangers. The most primitive parts of our brain respond before the more advanced and developed part of our brain kicks in. And sometimes we fear what we should fear. But lots of times we don't fear what we ought to fear. And this book really helps us think through these things and to understand the science between what triggers fear and what doesn't trigger fear. And I'd encourage all of you who are watching, maybe just send me an email or respond on the Facebook page by sharing with me what you're reading right now. And this morning I started my day reading a poem from Mary Oliver's collection of poems called Thirst. Making the house ready for the Lord. Dear Lord, I have swept and I have washed, but still nothing is as shining as it should be for you. Under the sink, for example, is an uproar of mice. It is the season of their many children. What shall I do? And under the eaves and through the walls, the squirrels have gnawed their ragged entrance. But it is the season when they need shelter. So what shall I do? And the raccoon limps into the kitchen and opens the cupboard while the dog snores and the cat hugs the pillow. What shall I do? Beautiful is the new snow falling in the yard, and the fox who is staring boldly up the path to the door. And still I believe you will come, Lord. You will. You will come when I speak to the fox, the sparrow, the lost dog, the shivering sea goose. Know that I really am speaking to you whenever I say, as I do all mornings and afternoon, come in. Come in. Thanks for checking in. Take care. Be safe, be well, and be smart.